Hi, my name is Keren Baltzer. I'm the copy chief for Guideposts magazine, and I have been gluten-free for about 2.5 years. Don't be afraid to try different kinds of pasta if you're gluten-free, because you might not like some of them. I found I didn't really like the white rice pasta or the brown rice pasta, and I discovered this quinoa pasta. It's got a little bit of a nuttier flavor and more of a weight to it. It feels a little bit more like real pasta. Don't be afraid to try different varieties out there if it's something like pasta or even bread. Bread's really hard to give up, hard to substitute, but there are some really good whole foods breads out there. Hamburger buns that I discovered. I actually bought them because we were doing turkey burgers on the grill and I wanted a bun. But I actually discovered that I love this bread toasted. So I'll just cut a bun in half and then toast a half, and it makes great toast. And I also discovered a brand of currant and cinnamon English muffins. Those are wonderful toasted as well. So with gluten-free breads, you do have to toast the bread because they're mostly in the refrigerator or freezer, but they're very good toasted with butter and whatever you want to put on them. So don't be afraid to try different brands. You shouldn't be afraid to try other starches like cornstarch, there's arrowroot starch, some other things like that in place of wheat flour if you're wanting to make a good sauce, like a white sauce or a cheese sauce. I actually discovered that because one morning I was homesick. There was nothing I could really eat, and I wanted to make creamed eggs on toast that my grandmother used to make for me when I was a kid. So I called my mom for the recipe, and of course she gave me the regular recipe with wheat flour. So I jotted down the recipe from her and then got online and figured out the substitution of how much cornstarch to wheat flour I should actually use in the sauce. And after I figured that out, I made the sauce. It turned out beautifully because arrowroot starch and cornstarch are both pretty flavorless, and so it didn't change anything about the sauce. It didn't flavor it in a way that I didn't like. And so I actually was very excited to know that I could have a family favorite at those times when I didn't feel well and needed that comfort food. Don't be afraid to read the packaging on everything and figure out what has wheat in it or what has gluten in it and what the substitutions are, because there are some really good ones out there. Soy sauce has wheat in it, but tamari is a wheat-free, gluten-free soy sauce. So you can always find those substitutions that look similar, taste similar to what you are used to eating. I would also say try out a lot of different flour mixes, because there are great, I think it's Bob's Mill has some really good pancake mixes and bread mixes. And then as you become a better gluten-free baker, you can actually buy the different flours yourself, like white rice flour, sweet white rice flour, brown rice flour, let's see, buckwheat flour. There's so many different kinds, and you'll learn to mix and match those when you're baking for the flavor that you really like. You'll probably have to get used to packing your own foods, and that can be as simple as cutting up apples and carrots, or it can be something much more broad where you actually create a chicken dish or something that can be cold and you have it to take with you. Another tip I would have for you as far as eating out at restaurants, I've learned to do a few things based on a little research about the restaurant that we might be going to, because I don't want to be the person who can't ever go out to eat. So sometimes I'll eat ahead just so that I'm not really hungry when I get there, and then when I get to the restaurant I'll just find something on the menu that I can eat that's tasty and isn't really about satisfying my appetite, but rather just about being in the restaurant with friends and family. Don't be afraid to do the research, to think about the restaurants that you might be going to or where you're going to be getting your food from if they don't cater to gluten-free people. It's getting better, but it's still a pretty difficult field. Just prepare yourself a little bit in advance so that you have an idea of what is in the foods, what's on the menu, and even be willing to create your own meals from the menu. Look at the sides, look at the meat dishes, and just tell the waiter that you're going to create your own meal. And that can be very satisfying. It might not mean that you get the big, exciting, breaded, delicious, deep-fried, whatever it is that they're offering, but it does mean that you'll be able to have the meal that satisfies you without hurting yourself or regretting it later for having given in and eating something that sends you either into a sick bed or just feeling uncomfortable the next day. So I hope these tips have helped you a little bit, whatever part of the journey you're on with gluten-free, wheat-free diet. And also know that you're not alone in this, that I'm in this every day with you.